open. Remind you firstly that the meeting is being webcast and you should refrain from making any defamatory statements. Would you join? And we need to accept Councillor Jones into the meeting. She's on. Someone like to move that she be accepted into the meeting?
I'll move.
Councillor Popham, Councillor Happy. All those in favour? Good, motion carried. Thank you. If I could ask you to join me first in the prayer. Let us be still and remember the presence of God as we commence our meeting. Let's together pray for guidance and help. Almighty God,
we ask your blessing upon this council. Director
relations to the true welfare of Australia.
And the Yass family. Amen.
And could you remain standing, please, for the acknowledgement of country? Sorry. Yass Valley recognised as the Ngunnawal people as the traditional custodians of the land, water and sky. We pay our respect to their elders past, present and future emerging leaders. We extend our respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who live in the Yass Valley local government area. Thank you. Apologies, we have an apology from Councillor Butler. I'd move the acceptance of the apology. Councillor Reid and Councillor Abbey. Yeah. Put the motion, all those in favour, those against, declare the motion carried. Any declarations of pecuniary or interests or special disclosures?
Yes, I've got one.
Oh.
Item 5.1, I've got a pecuniary interest that obviously leave the chamber.
Thank you.
I've got one. Sorry. Item 10.1, I made a declaration that I'm a member, like I attend the Yass boxing gym. Not significant. Watch out.
A message here. Okay, moving straight along to item 6, reports to council. 6.1, the open space. Oh, sorry. I'd like to move the confirmation of the minutes circulated last week. Councillor Reid, Councillor Burgess, thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it might be an opportunity for me to just mention that the confidential minutes of item 10.5 should include the foreshadowed motion that was put at the meeting but isn't included in the confidential minutes. Noting that that wouldn't come out into public session anyway, but it does need to be included in the internal minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Everyone happy with it?
Yeah, I will be voting against the acceptance of the minutes simply because I have no recollection of the completion of that meeting. I normally, on my business paper, the mover and seconder of every motion that goes through, and I can't even find the piece of paper to confirm it happened. So I'll be not accepting the minutes.
Thank you, Councillor. So everyone happy with the comments from Councillor Jones? Yeah, you're going to incorporate that into the minutes. Thank you. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour of the confirmation of the minutes? The motion carried. Those against? Councillor Turner and Councillor Cameron. Okay, now to item 5, the mayoral minute. Chief Executive Officer's request for contract.
Oh,
Yep, we're about to go.
do you want me to leave this role then? Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
What's the wish of the councillors? Do you want the executive team to remain or leave the meeting while we discuss this.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, well, I'll move the recommendation. We'll have a seconder. Councillor Reid, thank you, Councillor Reid. Any discussion? If not, I'll put the motion and I'll start the discussion.
As you know, Mayor McGrath, I requested that this mayoral minute be withdrawn and that independent legal advice be sought on how we can carry forward. And I think in the email that I sent around to councillors, I expressed my thought that there was a problem with process as far as I was concerned, in that councillors had no say in the decision to acquiesce to the CEO request for a large increase. I won't mention the figure, a large increase in salary. And I don't think it was a modest increase. I think, Mayor, you're the only one who could reasonably say that it was a modest increase, in my opinion. So there was no discussion on the matter. I think what actually happened at the end of the meeting in the confidential section was after that had sort of finished, you really didn't have an opportunity. You seemed to meander out and inform the CEO that the contract for an extension of 3 years had been passed by the council, but there was no discussion about anything else. That was what was actually stated. So there was no discussion on the matter, and I didn't think that, in my opinion, that the mayor had the ability, shouldn't say ability, had the right basically to negotiate the remuneration figure, which incorporated a substantial increase. I think this was a major error in not signing off this issue with the council who were making the initial decision, and I think we need sort of basically an employment law specialist to rectify the way forward, because, as you know, you have signed it on behalf of the council, and so has the CEO as well. I don't think it can be approved after the event. I think you have the right to bring that motion to the council, but usually when you bring that motion to the council, if you read the code of conduct, it basically actually says that, or it doesn't say, but it implies that everything up to that point has been done correctly. I don't think that's the case, and I think we should vote this mayoral minute down. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Speakers for the recommendation. Councillor Reid.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I tend to agree to a large extent with what Councillor Cameron's just said. We definitely didn't sit down and discuss the items in the package. But the CEO presented the terms that he would be willing to continue in his office under, and we agreed to accept that. So whilst we didn't actually sit down and argue about salary increase and what have you, I believe it was implicit in what we were doing that we would acknowledge the CEO's request to have an increase in salary. I'd also draw everybody's attention to the fact that we had councillors here. I think Councillor Jones, in fact, got her attention there. And Councillor Jones actually agreed with putting an even bigger package together in terms of if we were going to the market, that we would try to get somebody, more attractive package to try and get a bigger field of applications. And so I thought we were actually doing a reasonable job of compromising, if that's the right word, under the circumstances. So yes, it was implicit, but as far as I'm concerned, it was acceptable.
Thank you, Councillor Reid. Councillor.
My objection is well known on the use of mayoral minutes. And this one, I think, was an incorrect use of mayoral minute, with great respect. Mayoral minutes are reserved for things, urgent matters that require ratification, action that is taken in between meetings that have not been put forward in front of councillors, for urgent matters that require immediate attention, for a number of reasons. They're quite clear in what a mayoral minute should be used. I don't like mayoral minutes from the point of view that A, it doesn't require a seconder, and B, it means that councillors are asked to make decisions without the full benefit of the cost ramifications, where they come from. Certainly in this case, I don't believe there was any discussion that produced a record that basically said the CEO should get a double-digit increase in percentage-wise in his salary, while everyone else is actually down somewhere around about 3.5% according to the budget. I believe that required a certain amount of transparency. It needed a report. It needed council to deliberate. And the use of the mayoral minute, I think, is gagging the judicial process of council.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Any further discussion? One else,
John.
Councillor
Sorry, I'm not sure if you can see me because I'm a blank screen on my own, which is preferable from my end, but I'm just not sure if you can actually see me. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I tend to agree with Councillor Turner that the process is rough around the edges in terms of using the mayoral minute for this purpose. Since Councillor Reid has opened up a little bit of the discussion, I will probably just clarify that the foreshadowed motion was something to look at the open market process. Yes, I was looking at going to the market to see, in particular to a consultant, recruiting consultant, to look at what the market parity would be to retain or recruit the CEO position to the best of our ability within the budget that we have. I think it was implicit in the consultant, using the consultant that we had for the process, that the request from the CEO was about right. And so I think I would agree with Councillor Reid in that it was implicit in the discussion, but the process was rough around the edges. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Jones. Any further discussion? From my point of view, the General Manager put a submission to Council. He offered his services for a further 5-year term at a certain sum, and he rationalised the amount that he was looking for by reference to adjoining councils and the salaries of the various other CEOs. And it seemed that the Yass Valley, even though the Remuneration Tribunal just 12 months ago regraded the Yass Valley Council from rural to large rural, which I remind councillors resulted in a fairly substantial increase in the allowance paid to councillors and to the mayor. Now, I think from my point of view, with the sort of workload that the CEO has to carry here at Yass Valley and what's on the board, if we look at the likelihood of, well, we've got the development projected for this site, $40 to $50 million worth. The potential for the treatment works, probably another $30 million job. We've got the ACT forging its way into Yass Valley at Ginadera. And we've got growth, significant growth to do. Challenges with staff. I think there are substantial reasons really for a recent increase. If you look back over the previous 5 years, I think the total increase that The CEO has received has been around about 10,000. And if you take the whole increase, this 27,000 plus the 10,000 over an 8-year period, it's much more modest than what it appears to be in one fell swoop. So I certainly support my recommendation. Maybe it could have I could have come back to council. I thought it was pretty straightforward. It was a narrow decision. I admit that. But even if it had gone the other way, it would still have been a very narrow decision. We brought in a professional consultant to do a review and to advise councillors. And I recall that it was pretty straightforward. He indicated that the package that we had our present CEO on was pretty much below average, and we would have to consider a fairly significant increase if we were going to go to the market. Anyhow, I think if no one else wants to speak on the matter, I'll put it to the vote. Prepare to vote, councillors. Okay, all those in favour of the recommendation, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in favour. Those against, Councillor Turner and Councillor Cameron. Thank you, councillors.
Just noticing, just noticing that next to my name, I've left the room. Can we just check that? Sure, is that a mistake?
No, it's.
Sorry, I haven't left the room.
No, I know, it's the system because I can't put CEO on.
Right, sorry.
So I'll do that shortly.
All right. Oh, Councillor Camera. Isn't there a film called I Am the Camera?
Okay, you all right? We're back into business?
Yep.
We're already in it.
Well, I was wondering about the across the floor. So we're on to 6-1, the open space. Strategy. Yes, Councillor Jones, thank you.
Through Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to move. I'd also like to include that recommendation BBRW7 be amended to retain at the playground. To retain the playground at the community hall, and that council investigate options to enter a memorandum of understanding for the maintenance of the playground. And I'd also like council to acknowledge the work of the Yass Valley Open Space Project Committee and extend that thanks for providing oversight on this project.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. We have a seconder, Councillor Reid. Okay, discussion?
Could I ask Director Costa to give us a few words, because this has been quite a lengthy process, and it's involved a fair amount of commitment from community members, particularly Stephanie Helm and Annalise Caston, who were part of that committee.
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
So, first, thank you to the council for its patience in providing the funds to be able to undertake this particular project. We have had a few hurdles in terms of delivery, but I'm really pleased that we've been able to get it out to exhibition. We haven't, in general, the submissions have been quite supportive of the actual work, and it gives, the open space strategy now gives us some guidance around the future development of our open spaces, identifies land that is surplus to needs in terms of open space and the opportunities to dispose of that land and develop others at the same time. So it's a really good base for council to move forward in managing open space, and also a good basis for council to be able to apply for grants. And I also would like to acknowledge the work of the project committee, because the project did extend beyond what we had intended in terms of time, but they were quite committed to completing the project. And in particular, Stephanie Helm and Annalise Castle from Murray Bateman, who did extra time and work with council in terms of finalising the strategy. And as always, to acknowledge the strategic planning team and the recreational assets team, who both provided input into the project, participated in the project committee, gave comments and that sort of thing. As always, they're very professional and very knowledgeable. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Owen.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the Director of Planning and Environment. I may be comparing apples and oranges, but in on page 25 under Sutton, response comment was made towards the end of that first sentence, council could not provide shade and play, shade structures to play. My question is, the juxtaposition between that, and I've heard the CEO mention it numerous times, and what we've created down at Riverbank Park Adventure Playground, where we have provided shade, is that because the latter was sort of like grant funded or not?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, have we provided shade at Riverbank Park? There's trees there, but I don't recall.
Is there
Shade some.
there are some thrushes there that provided shade?
There are.
I see.
Over the what?
Barbecue.
Oh, over the barbecue and the seating, right. Yeah.
So then, furthermore, even if we routinely don't provide shade structures to play, are there any legal implications given that Australia has a high rate of
And climate change.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I think this issue has been raised at council multiple times. In terms of legal implications, look, I can't comment. I think if you go to the park, it's your responsibility to ensure that you put sunscreen on and wear appropriate clothing. Look, I think that's been the position of council. I really don't have any comments to make on that. It doesn't. It doesn't particularly relate to the open space strategy, but I'm happy to provide a response separate to the meeting, if you like.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I just wanted to make a couple of quick comments about the open space submission. I think, as I mentioned the other day, I think it shows the benefit of public exhibition. In regard to this particular submission, we got some very high quality submissions, including from the Sustainability Advisory Committee, which demonstrates the need for this to be considered as vital in all its dimensions in the future, not only just for sporting grounds, etc., but also for open space. As the valley becomes more and more developed in terms of large-scale housing developments, the passive recreation is going to become more and more important. And I don't mean just in Yass, but all around the villages as well as developments occur. So I think this is quite a commendable project. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cameron, any further comments, questions? If not, I'll put the motions. All those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. 6-2, we Jasper Fishman Shack. There is a recommendation.
Move the recommendation.
Councillor Turner, thank you. Councillor Popham. Any questions, any comments? If not, put the motion. All those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. 6-3, applications update, the information on. There's a recommendation. Someone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Reid, Councillor Abbey. Any comments? Councillor Pope.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, can I also ask Director Costin just to give a brief summary of this, just to put some light in just how many applications are going through the planning team at the moment? I was quite blown away with just the enormity, even scrolling through was huge. And I know there's a lot of confusion. People put in an application and then they're like, when's mine coming up? And it's taking time. But just can you please just put into perspective what your team does and how many applications this included?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the report indicates that we've got a total of active applications at the 9th of April of 259. So that cuts across all the functions that are carried out by the development control team. So it's not just development applications that they deal with. They do development applications, modifications to development consents, there's construction certificates, complying development certificates, critical stage inspections, local government act inspections, occupation certificates. I think I might have could have missed a couple, building information certificates. It's quite broad. The focus is just not around development applications. That team and their manager have done a lot of work around continuous improvement, and they are continuing to do that work because that is a large volume of applications given the staff numbers that we have in that particular team. So they are also doing work around making sure that the applicant is getting information around where their application sits in terms of all the other applications that are received. One of the big changes for that particular team and a few other parts of the organisation has been the introduction of the New South Wales Planning Portal, and that has created a significant amount of work which I don't think was considered at the time that was introduced, and particularly around the fact that we are essentially also providing support for people to use the portal even though it's not our system, and that there are still people who are not comfortable with using the portal, understanding the questions and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of time spent explaining that to our applicants. But overall, I think that particular team is doing a really good job. They continue to do the continuous improvement work that comes with this type of work. And I think, you can't underestimate the volume of applications there. It's really just not development applications. And on top of all the assessment work that they do, they still got to do inquiries and talk to people and that sort of thing. So that also takes up a lot of time. But I think, ultimately they should be commended for the work that they do.
Definitely, thank you.
Further comments? Put motion, all those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. Six four, the integrated planning and reporting documents. There is a recommendation. I'd like to move the recommendation. Councillor Reid. And the seconder. Councillor Turner, thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I understand we have some changes that are coming in from the ad valorem changes. Is that right, Director Safranek?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes. Basically, I have two changes to advise of tonight. And the first one is that there is a typing error on page 6 of the operational plan. It states that the wages are increasing by 4%. They're actually increasing by 3.5%. The figures are correct. It is just the text typo. The second thing is we had triple check of our ad valorem figures because I wasn't happy with the substantial increases in some of the minimum and base charges. And so the ad valorems are slightly changing. The yield gained will still remain at 13.4 million, but the ad valorems and the minimum charge and base charges have been evened across the board. I have provided councillors with a hard copy for your information, and that document will be updated prior to being put on public exhibition with your permission. And while I'm on a roll, if I may just do a summary of the so the operational plan, as you know, after several workshops, is now sitting at an estimate of $10 million deficit. I emphasise that it is anticipated that we won't come in at that at the end of the year, because in the last 5 years we have shown that we have budgeted quite large deficits, but we have come in quite in a good place. This current financial year, we're just almost finished the end of the financial year, and we're currently sitting at $3 million deficit, where we budgeted over $12 million deficit. So my anticipation is that as we work through the year, it will be adjusted, and it won't be as bad when we get to the end. But it is a plan that is a 4-year plan, and as we spoke at the workshop with the councillors and workshop with the leadership team, this is a plan to get council back to sustainability within the 4 years, and that will require some discussions, some very deep discussions regarding additional income and services that we provide to the community, and prioritising those services and projects.
Any questions of the director? Councillor Abbey?
I have a question, preliminary question to the director of the community. Are we going to work through each of these documents like individually?
No, Councillor Abbey, we did that during the workshop last Monday. The documents will be on public exhibition for 28 days, and during that time, the executive team and the councillors will do community consultation with the different villages, including Yass, and explain the content of it.
So are you saying in effect, if I had some questions, I've missed that?
Oh, I'm happy to answer. No, I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question. So the operational plan, long-term financial plan on page 4, under income from continuing operations, revenue and grants and percentage terms there, it's quite an increase. Could you explain that?
Excuse me, sorry, Councillor Abbey, can you tell me what page you were on?
Page 4.
Of the operational plan?
Yep.
Are you talking about the other revenues or the rental revenue?
Income from continuing operations.
Yep, rental revenues. I'd have to actually take that on notice and find out exactly what is in the rental revenue. I know it does include properties that we have and facilities that we have we receive rental from, but I would have to look at the detail for you. Yep.
Any further questions? Yes?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Jones.
Thank you. Look, if the mover and the seconder are happy, I'd love to add another point to the motion, because we have set a budget of $400K for the Main Street Master Plan projects. I think it might be prudent to also add that a report to council be prepared on the most suitable Main Street Master Plan project or projects for consideration as part of the $400K funded works in the 24-25 operational plan budget.
Mover and seconder happy to incorporate that?
Main Street Master Plan projects. Against consideration.
Oh.
Can I?
Rude, Councillor
Thank you to Councillor Jones. Councillor Jones, are you saying that you want that prioritised, or what? You just want to cherry pick something out of it? Can you explain the reason behind your addition to the?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we have a situation where there may be priority works that offer the best value for money for the community to do first, or offer the best, for example, economic development upturn. However, we also have engineering reports in the works which will also help guide us as to which projects we can do within that budget that may not require, for example, the major components of the main street to be impacted. Obviously, it's a massive project and it's staged, so I think it's important that both councillors, planning and engineering all get together to determine what's the best project to spend with this first batch of money. As we know, the grants for this type of project have not been forthcoming in what we've seen in previous years. So I think we really need to be careful in how we spend this money.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy.
Everyone happy?
I've got another question.
Yes, Councillor Rabbit?
Through you, Mr Mayor, to the Director of Corporate Community, I'm now on workforce management. On page 7 of that, could I just make the note that I think it would be appropriate to reflect the Director of Planning and Environment's name accurately, please?
Thank you, Councillor Rabbit. Okay, happy to vote, councillors?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I just wanted to note a few projects that I thought the executive might like to speak to, because obviously the Craig O'Mill precinct drawdown of 26 million is an important component of the budget. We've got the Yass River Bridge replacement, the Murrumbateman Creek Bridge replacement, that's the road ceiling, all of which council makes a contribution from, but they're major grant works projects. And also for the first time, we've got the $3 million project, of which we're drawing down 600K from in this operational budget for the water reticulation upgrade, which is something that the community has been stressing must be part of the water treatment upgrade, that we also look at the pipe. So I think that's something that we should highlight, that we are tackling in this budget with. That the Main Street master plan is finally getting some funding, particularly after we had such wonderful community engagements through the committee. And I think it's important that we flag that's getting underway, and also that we're supporting the Murrumbateman Playground All Abilities grant by adding some extra funding to really make sure that we've got enough in the kitty to fulfil that project.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Happy to vote now, councillors? I'll put the motion in. All those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. Now to 6.5, the investment report. With the recommendation. I'd like to move the recommendation. Councillor Raby, Councillor Reid. Yes. Any questions? Councillor Cameron?
Yeah, look, I just having a bit of a look, and I didn't pick this up until just recently, like about 5 minutes ago, where it says on page 38, it says the financial implications. It says the investment portfolio assists with council's cash flow and funding of projects identified in the operation plan and in accordance with council's investment policy. So the investment portfolio assists with the council's cash flow. I just wondered what that actually means in terms of, let's say for an example, what's the situation for 24-25 in terms of what's happening with the investment portfolio, please?
Through you, Mr Mayor, what that means is that we invest in our term deposits so that they mature twice a month, so that we can monitor our cash flow as we move forward, and if need be, we can access funds within 2 weeks.
So that could mean that you could withdraw funds on a large scale?
Yep.
If you could.
Well, we could, but we invest $1 million every fortnight we could draw on, and we have a policy account that the payment schedule is 30 or 14 days turnaround.
Right, okay. Another question that I could ask as well, sorry, to our corporate and community, sorry. We're not drawing down any money at the moment on the Crago loan because we're not doing anything?
We're not building yet. No,
We're not building. So the loan is for building a loan, is it?
That's correct, yes.
Not for,
It's for the building of the Crago Mill precinct.
right,
So it's not for the consulting in preparing it, it's not for the change management leading up to it. It's actually for the construction and fit out of the building.
okay, so it's not the destruction of some of these buildings and the clearing up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's part of, that's
Okay,
considered
I
part
just
of
wanted to-
construction.
I just wanted to clarify that. I suppose as an aside to that, I suppose the question I'm asking is, where and when will the staff leave here and head somewhere else? I've had a couple of people talk to me about the Yass Community Centre. When are they being moved out?
I'll move that over to the
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have a team of people in the Environmental Services Department
Right.
who will be moving down to the Goodridge Centre.
All right.
because Belmar have relinquished the lease on that. And,
Okay, yeah, I did see some desks moving out of there.
yeah, so basically, they'll be moving there, not the community centre. So that brings the community centre back into play for a number of those community groups that use that particular building. Very fortunate that Belmar's moved out. That allows us to move the staff into that building temporarily because this chamber area and the garage on the corner are the first parts of the building to go.
Yeah.
The rest of the staff will remain in this building until the new building is completed, and then they'll decant from here into the new building.
So is anything going to happen in terms of staff reallocation in regard to the Yass Community Centre?
Well, there's no staff going in there.
Okay, so whatever they're doing at the moment, they can
Continue.
continue.
They will continue, instead of continuing next door,
Yeah,
in the old garage, they'll continue in the Goodridge Centre.
all right, okay, that's good. Thank you.
All good? I'll put the motion, all those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. 6, Yass Valley Business Chamber, awards.
I'd like to move this, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a very valuable recognition of the work that's done throughout the chamber members. It's really important to keep supporting it, and it's really important for council to be seen to be supporting it. And I happily move the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Abbey, thank you.
Question, if I may.
Councillor Abbey.
Mr. Mayor, not sure who you included and corrected that. And Kim may, by what he said, implied the answer to it. But my question is this a new initiative by Yass Valley Business Chamber?
Really, Mr. Mayor, yes, it is.
And a good one too.
Any other questions? Speakers against the motion? If not,
Just answer that question for Councillor Abbey. These awards were covered previously by Rotary, who have a pride of workmanship award. They used to do a dinner and a recognition of staff. It's very similar.
Thank you, Councillor.
Councillor Turner, well, if there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. 6, 7, additional community financial assistance. application.
6, 7 and 6, 8 into closed session.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Abbey? Any discussion? Put the motion, all those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. Next is the water treatment plant 6-9. Upgrade update. Move Councillor Pelton, seconded Councillor Burgess. Any discussion? Any questions, any comments? I'll put the motion, all those.
Excuse me, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. Could we have the director speak about the timeline that we're now on in regards to making sure that the National Water Grid grant process is underway, because I understand we'll be holding an extraordinary meeting to help this process along.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so the National Water Grid Round 2 funding became available Friday last week, and it closes on the 13th of May 2024. So we have now gone through the project assurance process. We've got the recommendations for that. They're being incorporated into the final business case, which we need to have endorsed by Council prior to the closing date of the National Water Grid funding on the 13th of May. So we're going to call for an extraordinary meeting of Council on the 9th of May so that we can have a look at the final business case and hopefully endorse it at that meeting.
Thank you, Director Cook. So just confirming that we have received everything we need to receive from the state government in order to relodge for a second go. So they have, is that correct?
No, Mr. Mayor. So no, we've got the recommendations from the assurance process that we're going to build into the final business case. Our consultants are currently working through that at the moment. We should have that back late next week, and then in turn to put it to the Council, the extraordinary meeting of Council on the 9th of May.
Thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carried. Yes, we have a late report. Council has been circulated. 610 safety improvements, 7th Road bylaw, and closure of Richmond Street, protection to traffic. And there is a recommendation.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Turner and Councillor Reid, thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, just a couple of brief words. Having talked to people recently at Binalong, they are very concerned about the closure of Richmond Street. However, and I'm always very tempted to vote what the community wants or what they put forward. I think it was a bit unfortunate that they put their case very strongly to Transport for New South Wales initially, and I think they expected a good response to that, and ultimately it didn't happen. And it was explained to councillors that it was because safety was the overriding concern for this funding for this particular operation on that dangerous bend. So safety is the major issue. I'm very pleased to see that the speed limit has been dropped down from 60 k's to 50 k's. Which I think is a really important development. Should have been done years ago. I travel over there occasionally, and I'm just amazed at the trucks just roaring through. People actually, I don't go that fast, but I've been passed on double lines there a couple of times, and it's. I think it really is a dangerous situation. So, although I support what the community wanted to have happen, but safety overrides it.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Any other comments, councillors? No, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Declare the motion carries. Item 7, notice of motion from Councillor Cameron. Made the motion.
I think I will.
Do we have a second?
Mr. Mayor, far be it from me to deny Councillor Cameron his 2 minutes on soapbox. Despite the fact that this motion has no real personal action other than to reassure the community that the water treatment works is the highest priority of this council. I'm happy to second it to allow him to do his bit.
Councillor Cameron.
Most kind. Thank you, Councillor Turner, for your generous support, even though it is limited in its value. Thank you. Okay, look, I must admit, last Thursday I was ringing around and I got on to Christy McBain's office and I was asking them, when's this second round opening up? And after a day or two, I got a reply back saying that it was, this was last Thursday, that it's just been opened. And I must say, I was a bit shocked that suddenly, and I said, oh, well, when's the closing date? Expecting him to say June or, late June. So I said, May 30. It's 3 weeks. It's open for 3 weeks so that everything had to be done and sent into New South Wales to get their imprimatur before it goes on to the federal government. So we all know that the application is essential. We're all disappointed that it wasn't successful the last time because the business case was in draft form, et cetera, et cetera. But we need 18 million from the federal government, and this application is so important. So the fact that we only had 3 weeks to do it, I didn't know at that stage where we were up to in the business plan. And I thought that the application, which I initially read, had some weaknesses, and I thought it was important that we focus more on the community and how the community could be benefited by improved water quality in terms of dental health, mental health, whatever. So I think I'm very pleased that I've been reassured in the last couple of days that everything is well in hand and a considerable effort has been made by all to ensure the quality and it will be there on time. I still think the motion is important, even though my seconder doubts its validity. I'm sure there are others who do as well. But I think it tells the community that this is important, this is our top priority, this is what has to be fixed. So it tells the community that, but it also tells agencies and people wishing to move into the Yass Valley, in particular the area serviced by the water, even developers, that we are trying our hardest to fix this particular problem as quickly as we can. And with 18 million, we've got a chance to do that. I sort of don't want our foot off the pedal once we get to the stage where the application goes in. We need to keep on going. We need to keep on pushing on it. We're going to keep on getting Facebook discoloration of water. We might have more boiled water alerts. We're going to go through a process over a period of time. But I think if we've got it on the record that we consider this the top priority, I think we are making a statement to our community that this is essential to be done as quickly as possible. So I hope everyone can vote for it, including the seconder. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Reid.
I'm not sure this is a motion, actually. I mean, it said it's a motion, but I have a problem. It's more like a motherhood statement. The conundrum for me is I feel like I'm between the devil and the deep blue sea, as usual. If I vote against the motion, it's basically saying that I don't think this is a high priority for us. If I vote for the motion, then what I'm saying is we as a council have not had this on our priority list, and it has been extremely high on our priority list, not just for the last few weeks, but the last 3 or 4 years, to my knowledge. So I have a problem swinging which way, either way, especially as I'm going to have to perhaps face the ratepayers before long. And if I vote against it, that will look rather bad on my record. But if I vote for it, it will equally look bad on my record. In terms of metrics, it doesn't say where we're failing. It doesn't say where we're not meeting the objectives or how we're doing it. And it doesn't tell us how we could rectify that if we are. What are we going to do? How do we make this more of a priority than it already is? Are we going to sack off the staff so we can get more money? Somebody's doing that apparently to get a swim pool for his wife's electorate. He's the mayor of somewhere in council or something. Where do we get the resources from to make it different? What resources do we need? Do we need to take everybody out of the planning area and put them all up on this case? And if we do, will it make any difference? I doubt it, you know. So where are we at? And where do we take, if we do need money, what are we going to do? Stop the Memorial Hall going forward, the street master plan, you know. So yeah, I'll be voting against it.
Every chance to the elect. I think it's what is called a classic wedge motion. Really?
Mayor, if I may, yes, of course, it's a conundrum. This chamber's directly in this place to solve conundrums. And when faced with a conundrum, you have to take it at full on. Equally, you have to remember that if this motion hadn't been seconded, there's political mileage in the fact that they care so little that they can't even discuss it. So at least we got it out into the open and it's there up on the TV, someone's listening in and it's being discussed. And they are aware of the fact that this chamber believes that it is of a priority and it will be seen through to its fruition. I have absolutely no doubt. Basically, a question, I guess, through you to the CEO, if you vote for it, is there a political mileage in the fact that it says that council's not doing its job and therefore we needed this motion to ensure that the staff were doing their job? If we vote against it, is there political mileage in the fact that it can be used to say council doesn't want it as their priority? As you say, between a rock and a hard place, if I could ask the CEO for his interpretation in it. And I've assured the mover that I am moving purely to ensure that it is in public record that this was a motion that was put up in total faith and needed discussion, not swept out of the carpet.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think there's some additions you could make to strengthen this motion and to make it very clear. And I think the simplest way to do that is that Yass Valley Council, the Yass Valley CEO and other staff continue to make fixing of the Yass Valley Yass Valley water, it's the Yass water treatment plant, to meet the best standards in the community as its number one water project priority. I think something like that would be more even-handed, and you won't have a situation of do I vote because it is already our priority, or don't I vote because I need a statement on the public record. I think if you do something along those lines, some simple modifications to it, I think you'll probably have a motion that you could all probably support without any problems one way or the other.
Could I suggest a change to the motion? Just say continue to make the fixing of the Yass Valley water supply is high priority.
You're happy to accept that, Councillor Cameron?
So I'm not sure what Councillor Reid is saying.
So resolve that the Yass Valley.
It's already our priority, so we're just saying that we will continue to keep it at the
Yass Valley councillors and Yass Valley CEO and other staff continue
to make the fixing of the Yass Valley water treatment as needed.
It's just that the valley doesn't need to be in. It's actually called the Yass Valley, the Yass water treatment plant. That's what its name is.
So is it? I'm just looking.
Particularly the Yass water treatment plant. Yass Valley.
So that second thing is the amended motion.
Needs to go.
No, well, there's something already up there, Councillor Turner. Is that the new motion or is that the amended motion?
So what's down below? The bottom one that where the cursor is floating around at the moment.
Yeah.
That the Yass Valley councillors and the Yass Valley CEO and other staff continue to make the fixing of the Yass water treatment plant as their top water priority.
I'm not sure about water. Is their top priority?
As their top water project priority.
No, leave it as priority, not project.
Just top priority?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay,
Okay, I'll accept that amendment and I'm sure Councillor Turner will. You can vote for it now, Councillor Turner. I think. Okay, just to finish it up, can I?
Find something.
Sorry, I didn't realise your hand was up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't going to close.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I also just wanted to draw attention back to the previous motion that we did, 6.9, the water treatment plant upgrade project update, which I appreciate having, and it clearly shows a timeline and a progression of the works that the staff are doing, and that we are on top of this, and it is a priority. So I just wanted to go back, if anyone does think that we're not doing anything, go and read that 6.9 motion, because it is quite detailed in the stuff that is happening and the works that the staff are undertaking to try and improve the water. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Botham. Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, just to finish up. It could be regarded as a bit of a motherhood statement, but
Not now.
not now. Okay. Well, it could be regarded in that sense, but I was thinking it was more like a vision statement, part of a vision type sort of exercise. Look, I'm incredibly optimistic that this application will be successful. And I put that down for a number of reasons, which I won't go into. But I think we will get there. I think we'll get the 18 million. But even if we get it, it's going to take a couple of years to really get things done. And I think we've got to take the community along with us. And by telling them that it's our top priority, then I think they can at least see that we're genuine, that we really are trying to get on top of this particular problem. And we will go through short-term problems over the next year or two, and we just got to basically be able to say that that's the statement that we're working on, and I recommend the motion.
Thank you.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Everyone happy to vote?
No,
Councillor Jones.
thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Cameron's close to the debate.
No, you are you not amending the motion so that it's, I mean, we haven't even,
Amendment accepted the amendment in the motion.
sorry, so I just wanted to clarify. I want to clarify the words as their top priority.
I'm closed. I have closed, councillor.
Councillor Cameron? Resume your seat.
Point of order, though.
He's finally remembered all the rules.
No, point of order.
Yes, there is.
There is no point of order.
All right. You want a motion of dissent?
No, we'll go to hardest. The debate is been closed.
Yep.
There's no questions, no answers. We now vote. All those in favour? Those against? I declare the motion carried.
Thank you.
Councillor Jones against the motion. Questions with notice nil.
So sorry, can I just clarify that we were voting for the amended motion to now become the motion?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
they accepted, the mover and seconder accepted the amendment in the motion. So they accepted what was proposed in their motion. So they've amended the original motion. The mover and seconder accepted the amendment.
Okay, but that's very, very different from what like the original motion. But anyway, look, I just don't understand. I don't understand why every councillor wasn't given the opportunity to speak to the motion then.
Well, I'm sorry, Councillor Jones.
So it's my understanding that what we were voting for then was to accept that as the new amended motion. So I voted against, and then I wanted to speak in favour of the motion.
You obviously thought there was an amended motion. There wasn't an amended motion. The original motion stood, but the amendment within that motion, the mover seconder accepted that.
I don't understand why a councillor wasn't given the opportunity to speak against the motion. Like you took a vote then, Chair, without allowing someone to speak against the motion.
Well, do we want to go back to George? We can.
Back to what?
I just think we've got a procedural problem.
Yes, I know.
I tried to seek clarity. I said, can I clarify? And I was shut down.
Unfortunately, that was after Councillor Cameron had closed the debate. I'm sorry you're unhappy, Councillor Jones.
I'm just extremely disappointed in the process.
Understand.
There's no way out of this.
That's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I'm going to close down a couple of them. I have. I should close me down a couple of them.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have the floor.
Okay, we're moving on, councillors. Item 9.1. Minutes of the CRJO Joint Audit Risk and Improvement Committee held on the 12th of March 2024. There is a recommendation. Someone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Reid, we have Councillor Potter. Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Reid.
Mr. Mayor, through you to the CEO. I noticed in the amendment, sorry, the attachment, but there's a reference to an interim external financial audit, so on and so forth. My question is, who is conducting that audit and possibly Ernst & Young, and if whoever it is, who within Yass Valley is involved?
It's Ernst, through you, Mr. Mayor, it is Ernst & Young, and all our finance staff are involved in most of the managers.
And it's on the schedule for May, is that how I read it?
Yes, it is. They're due on the week of the 13th of May.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple of points. As I mentioned the other day, I think in an informal meeting that this particular committee is a very important committee, and I think it's going to become more and more important as we go along. The Audit Risk and Improvement Committee has noted a couple of things during its last meeting, which I attended as a council rep. There's a bit of a concern about governance in general, that there was a comment made that things were going okay, but maybe governance should be looked at. There was also a comment made that there was a concern that not having a permanent chief financial officer, I think the implication was that it needed to be rectified sooner rather than later. It also suggested that there should be a risk management framework to this council meeting, which I know hasn't happened, but I presume that it will happen again sooner rather than later. I think one of the things I could point out is that they are now asking for written reports in the future, and they want written reports on risk management, work, health and safety, governance, capital works, internal audits. And I think that ultimately these could be included in reports to council, as they have suggested that they should be reports rather than just the minutes of the meeting. I think they feel that the minutes of the meeting don't get across the importance of the work being undertaken. And I think we are getting a visit in August from the chair of that particular committee to talk about the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee and answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So just to add to that, clarify, certainly the committee mentioned the concerns around the lack of a CFO, but we're comfortable with the arrangements that have been put in place by council staff. So we've got a contracted CFO overseeing the preparation of the budget documents, the quarterly reports and the like. They didn't seem to be particularly worried at this particular point in time because of the response that we provided them with. So that was my take on it at the meeting. And I must admit I did arrive a bit late, but that was the understanding I had of the meeting. In terms of the reports, the written reports, we started that at that meeting with written reports. They've asked us to continue doing that, and which we will. And certainly we would make, in my mind, the business papers as soon as we get them available to all councillors through the hub. So you will have the agenda and the reports that we present to the Audit and Risk Committee as councillors, and then the minutes will come. You don't control the minutes, but the minutes will come as they come.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not so much a question. I think we have a slightly different view. I don't think they were in a hurry in a sense of getting a CFO in place as soon as possible. I think they were realistic that, the staffing of such a position is difficult at the moment, getting somebody in at a reasonable sort of rate, that it's not easy to do that. But I think they were taking into account that although the consultants were probably doing a very good job on one hand, but having someone in on a more permanent basis over a period of time would be much more beneficial for the organisation in both the medium and long term. So I don't think they were in a hurry, I don't think they were in a rush, but they were just making that note.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Any further comments? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. Reading notes of the Yass Valley Open Space Strategy 9.2. There is a recommendation. Someone wants to move?
As chairman of that committee, I have.
Councillor Turner, Councillor Cameron. Any discussion? Any questions? I'll put the motion then. All those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. Minutes of the extraordinary meeting in South West Regional Waste Management Group held on the 28th of March. Again, there is a recommendation. Councillor Reid, Councillor Potter, thank you. Any questions? Councillor Abbey.
Yeah, through Mr. Mayor to the CEO, I had to read through these minutes. I was just wondering if you could demystify for me what a leachate barrier is construction.
Basically the barrier is to stop the leachate from the putrescible waste letting down, so to speak, it moving into the surrounding environment. So it's contained within the landfill area. It doesn't leachate out into the surrounding soil profile. So it's like a big plastic bag, I guess.
So is it like some sort of membrane?
Yeah. So it's basically just stops the runoff from moving into the surrounding soil. Usually take it out by a bit like what we do at Murrumbidgee. We have a pumping arrangement, don't we? So the old landfill at the Murrumbidgee has an arrangement whereby to minimise the dam, and we empty the dam out to keep it from moving around into the surrounding environment.
Thank you.
Good. I'll put the motion in. All those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. And that concludes the and for the regional waste management is held on the 3rd of April. I'm trying to get this meeting over, obviously.
This is their normal scheduled meeting, extraordinary meeting to deal with a particular issue, which was the expenditure in terms of the barrier. This is just their normal meeting.
So, Councillor Turner, Councillor Potham, thank you. Any further questions, any comments? I'll put the motion, all those in favour? Those against, declare the motion carried. Okay, well, that concludes the Audit session. So,
We move into closed session.
Michelle, hope you weren't too bored.
Good morning.
Move Councillor Turner, seconded Councillor Potter. Put the motion, all those in favour, those against, declare the motion carried. Okay, first item,